Welcome back to Taco Bowler Gaming. My name is Taco Bowler, and today we have a special episode which should hopefully correspond with a 100 subscriber episode. But we're going to do a tribute today to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, the late queen who recently died as of the recording of this episode. We're going to try and get her in the game. Here we're going to start as the United Kingdom. This is not Iron Man just simply because there's a few RNG events that we need to have happens. So for the setup here, we're going to start with a change of course, but we can't do a King's Party until Edward VIII has married Wallis Simpson. So after a change of course, we're going to go over here to limited rearmament and then reinforce the Empire, service overseas, encourage colonial elite, and general rearmament as far as we can on those, maybe shadow scheme, as far as we can get on those until the wedding actually happens. For research, we do need, this one we're going to be in an early war, but other than that, we just need the standard stuff. And then as we go from there, stay up to date on industry. You want to do disperse because you are going to face bombing, and make sure you get the fighter upgrade in there, and stay up to date on Navy. Gather all your navies together and things like that. You're going to send them into the Indian Ocean. So I have gotten all of my colonial elite, the 3 horses, and the Royal Tank Regiment, all and transitioned them all to the colonial garrison, which is the small one. And we're going to put them here in Labrador. And they're going to basically try and take Eastern Canada when it comes to it. And I have also begun trying to make sure that we have supply. I've tried to get this going over here. And make sure we have some supply for when the time comes. The other 16 regular infantry divisions I have put onto a naval line and a fallback line right here, with the intention of invading India relatively quickly after they all go away. So that's the basic plan there. As far as production goes, I've kept everything that was 1936 going, and I've put all the rest onto this carrier here. I want that carrier. But that's the basic gist there. And then I'm not making any of the fighters. I'm not making any tanks anymore. I do need trucks and civilian trains. I got 1 on there, and then I just have 4 each on infantry, towed artillery, and support equipment. We're going to get those up to 5, and I will stick that at 4 and 4, and then just the rest onto infantry equipment as we move along, and that'll be how that goes. Eventually, we will put some artillery and the support artillery, and then the support company once I have it researched. That gives me supply, which I think is supply use. Oh no, that's supply use there. So supply usage minus 10. So we're going to put logistics company on that one as well. But other than that, we will make it happen as we go, and I'll bring it back in whenever there's important events. This is my second attempt at this. I should warn you that I haven't gone through and made sure everything's going to work and work out great. So this should not be considered a definitive guide or anything like that, but I'm going to try and get through and show you how that is done. All right, here we go. King George V has died. This brings us to Edward, and we'll start the rest of the stuff toward the wedding. So I forgot to mention this, but we're going to want to eventually save up quite a bit of political power, but we are going to start by trying to get as many of these positions filled as we can. And I am going to be going for, again, infantry. The attack and defense works really well. Army logistics, attrition. And I'm going to be going for probably... I think I go for screens here and naval aviation here. But we're going to go with that first, and we'll start with logistics. Okay, here we go. The abdication crisis. For some time, King Edward VIII has entertained hopes to marry the American Wallis Simpson. A constitutional crisis has now risen, and as Mrs. Simpson not only divorced from her previous husband, but in point of fact is still married to her current husband, presently pursuing a second divorce. General outrage has ensued on the grounds of the king. And being the head of the Church of England, Edward cannot marry a divorcee. The king, however, has made it abundantly clear that he is very much in love with Mrs. Simpson, and intends to marry her regardless of the opinions of his governments, his subjects. As such, only 3 options remain open to him. The British government and the governments of the dominions have already stated that any alternative to abdication would be unacceptable, and repercussions of trying to force through a marriage, even an attempted compromise, would likely be dire not only for Britain itself, but also for its ties to the Commonwealth. As the king's closest advisors continue their attempts to convince him, the public awaits with bated breath the resolution of this conflict between the king and his cabinet. We have to go for a compromise in order to get Queen Elizabeth. So we will compromise on a morganatic marriage. And that begins preparations for the marriage, and we have the abdication crisis. So you're going to get some of these events as we go through. I got one that the politicians already opposed it. Here we go. We have some that are supporting the marriage. Whatever you do, you just don't click the bottom one. You have to click the top one. Whatever it is, you have to take it. Because the king shall not abdicate. We have to have the king stay. So we're going to do this, and we continue preparations for the marriage. And so the cabinet resigns, as you show no intention of staying anything. The cabinet will resign. Stanley Baldwin goes away, and we get fallen government, which is terrible for everything that we have, but you don't have to stay with it too long. All right, now we get Dominions breaking with the Crown. So the Dominions have informed us they will unilaterally be breaking ties with the Crown, citing the King's flagrant disregard for the opinions and wishes of Dominion governments and the peoples as the primary reason why the British-Commonwealth relationship can no longer continue. And so they leave the Commonwealth and they become free. So now we have a Canada, a South Africa, an Australia, and an India. And India still contains Pakistan and Burma as well. We also have New Zealand. They're all free. So at this point, I have all of the focuses that I wanted to get that I can get. I could take Mediterranean Basin, and this is something that's nice to get later on down into this tree here. But what I'm actually going to do is try to save up a little bit of my political power and be having no focus until we get the wedding. All right, here we go. The royal marriage of Edward VIII. The long-lasting joyous date for the royal marriage has arrived. Crowds have gathered in their thousands along the route traveled by the couple from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Abbey. Domestic resistance to the marriage has increasingly showed its impotence. Through symbolic resignations and the vain protest, now seems all but silenced. Last such act was the retirement of the Archbishop of Canterbury and his subsequent replacement with an individual more amenable to the king's wishes. In the face of this political turmoil, the crisis has caused the celebrations now ongoing are deeply necessary to returning a semblance of normalcy to public affairs, and is a starting point from which to resolve the present political issues. And I got dispersed, so that will help with a great many things. And now we head over and we begin doing a king's party, and God save the king. We should have that, no problem. And then I am going to move directly on to Ceylon Forward Operating Base and reclaim the jewel in the crown. And about this point, if you have the 150, you can get to partial mobilization. I would encourage you not to go to early, but to save up for partial. But that's worth some political power if you want to spend it. I'm probably going to go ahead and just keep saving up, though. All right, Pakistan has declared war on India. Hopefully that white pieces before I wind up having to face off with that. Last time it went way long and didn't white piece, so hopefully it does white piece here. That said, the Jewel of the Crown did add Pakistan in spite of the fact that it didn't exist when I hit the button to start it, so maybe that wouldn't matter. Okay, we have reclaimed the Jewel of the Crown. We're going to go for Imperial conscription and then appeal to Imperial loyalists and then bring the Dominions back into the fold. Gone ahead and declared war on both. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and do this. We should have plenty of naval support, and they shouldn't really have anyone down here. They do have some, but this should not be a thing. And that's that. India capitulates. We're going to take everything. Do I have enough? I do. Good. Okay, so I've been saving up my power. Partial mobilization I no longer have. I no longer have 25% war support. So, I guess get it when you want it if you want. And the justification for Burma is done. We're not quite in place yet. I highly doubt that matters, but... Alright, we're close enough. We're going to go ahead and go for Burma. All right, so the Burma War is over, and here I am going to anticipate that we're eventually going to be at war with Japan and probably also Siam. So what I'm going to try and do here is puppet. One of the key strategies that I have for this run is that we're going to be at war, but we're not going to call any of our friends in. I'm not going to call any of our puppets in and stuff like that. So we're actually going to just puppet Burma here so that... now it's Myanmar. But we're going to do that so that we eventually will not have this border. So now we're going to very quickly... just going to very quickly have some of the divisions be there.
Attention!
We have the other ones...
Come on!
Go over here to South Africa. And now, I have successfully gotten appeal to the Imperial Loyalists. And now I'm very close to bringing the Dominions into the fold. What I'm going to do here is go down and I'm going to do these decisions. Now, you don't have to. Oh, I need some towed artillery. Okay. In that case, we're going to come in here and we're going to remove the artillery from here. That'll give me plenty. Better give me plenty. Yeah, there we go. 1.5 thousand. You do not have to do this to get Queen Elizabeth, but I want to just because I haven't yet done it. Obviously, this is not the min-max way of doing things. Because you will not be able to get the cores and things like that when you get to Imperial Federation, if you do Imperial Federation, which I'm probably not going to do. But I felt it was fun because it would be something I didn't do before, and it's appropriate for Queen Elizabeth, who was very much, pro the Commonwealth and the self-reliance and self-governance of many of the different dominions. So we're going to foster all of these uprisings and then ally them in 30 days, and we're going to make it work. So that is 400 political power that I needed there, and we're going to get them all to fire at the same time. They're in their own faction, Commonwealth of Nations, so they should, if it works right, all capitulate as soon as they take Canada. But we're just going to have these guys doing their thing, just to make sure that it goes well. You will not have to have any navy going in any way, shape, or form. Oh, I can stop drilling this. You won't have to have any navy going in any way, shape, or form. These things will pop up, and you'll be able to land your troops and help out in that way. All right, I'm back up over 20. In fact, I'm at 40. And we're going to do partial mobilization. I cannot do war economy until I would be at war with, like, Germany, which is hopefully about a year away or more, so we're going to go to partial mobilization. All right, here we go. The Free Canadian Republic has declared war on Canada. Unitary South Africa has declared war on South Africa. The Emu Empire has declared war on Australia. And the Nova Zealand Republic has declared war on New Zealand. So now, you go in here. maybe we have to wait a day or so. Not sure how that works. There we go. Thanks to the appeal to Imperial loyalists, bringing the Dominion back in the crown, we get these. We can ally these uprisings, and we will ally all of them. And that brings us into this war. And I've gotten Consolidate the British Isles. I am not going to go for Unite the Anglosphere. Also, I don't think I'm going to go for The Sun Never Sets. Well, actually, yeah, sure, we're going to go for The Sun Never Sets. Alright. We have a small problem here. The independence of Ireland is guaranteed by France. We're going to wait, then, on Ireland. Alright, this one needs to get to Quebec. We have to get down to Quebec. That's where the rails begin in Eastern Canada. One thing you might do is, when they're still a Dominion, is fix that. Build a railway up to here so that when you go to take it, like, you can take it. Okay, so I am one who thinks that the King's Party guys here are very, very good. David Lloyd George, Winston Churchill, and the economic reformer Oswald Mosley. I'm going to go ahead and get all of them. You can get some of these other ones. They're not bad by any stretch of the imagination. They're not really something that I use that much. Eventually, I'll probably change maybe Old Figurehead over to Elusive Gentleman, but for the moment, no. Alright, so we're going to go back in here and we're going to move to the left side of the tree now. Once you win the Commonwealth War, you can grab Commonwealth ties and begin developing them as you wish. I'm not going to go for Imperial Federation or hold the Imperial Conference, but I do want to develop and develop them up a little bit. We don't have we don't have the ability for Develop the Raj, but we can bypass it to get one of these if we want, but I don't think we need that. Alternatively, you can fortify East Asia if you're preparing for a Japanese fight at some point. Make sure before you get the Germany war that you do get Shadow Scheme. If you can get it right now, if you can get it while you're still at war, I think it does activate. So I'm going to go for that real quick and then go back for some of the development stuff. And Imperialist South Africa has captured all of South Africa, but for some reason that one has not gone. I guess we still need Australia. Alright, so I'm going to begin creating a fallback line here on the southern shores of the home country. There we go. Take this port and as we do, we can take this rail. And that will greatly increase our supply in the region. And the shadow factories are in use. Okay, so one of the things you're going to be getting is a lot of troops from the Friends, the Dominions. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to go ahead and take them, which I don't normally do, frankly. And I'm going to be using them primarily to kind of guard the rest of the world. So here we go. It is over. The war is over. Fantastic. So January 2nd, 1939, the war is over. France still guarantees the independence of Ireland, which is not fun. I'm going to pull all our troops except for, I do have 12 of the colonial troops down here. Other than that, I'm going to pull all the troops that are my troops back to defend the homeland. And we'll put all the Dominion troops eventually into Africa as we go. But Czechoslovakia is still there, so we are still a ways off from the war. But I think that we can guarantee the independence of Poland as we go. All right, here we go. The Czechoslovakians event has happened, so at this point, I don't know if they're going to necessarily do it, but we're going to guarantee the independence of Poland, and we're going to make this happen. I hope. I think this is also important here. We need to create a faction as soon as we can. Canada will be able to do it at 40% world tension. We're currently at 35. But as soon as we can, we need to create that faction. And Poland has refused the German ultimatum. France never did guarantee Poland, so it's going to be Poland and us when that happens. That's not great. But it is not the end of the world. We accept we are at war with Germany, and we will call no one. Now, important note here, if you want Queen Elizabeth II, leave this vulnerable. We need them ultimately to bomb us. And we need that to happen. But this should put us at war with Italy here soon, and I've got this set up to try and strike and shrink this war to just Europe, and that's the goal here. That will also get us over 40, so let us create the faction. The British Commonwealth. Hopefully it... Dawn of the British Commonwealth. How about recreation of it? And that should bring us to invite Poland into the faction, which is good. France, not quite yet. There is Italy getting pulled into the war. Good. Now what I've done here is I've actually taken 12 of these guys, and I've set them up. And we're going to actually, slowly but surely, launch some naval invasions. To attempt to get things here. The Soviet Union wishes to send volunteers. You may volunteer. France is guaranteeing the independence of Belgium, so we are going to have France in the war, which is good. Fall of Warsaw, Poland's capitulation. And here we go. They've declared war on the Netherlands. Netherlands has joined our faction. Alright, we got some backup here. Set 73. Belgium is there. France has joined. Invite France to the faction. Now, again, what we ultimately need is for them to start bombing here. Just there. We don't want this. It does appear that the Scottish Highlands is no longer a thing. So we need them to be strat bombing in London. So I'm going to move my Air Force down here, and hopefully that will draw them in. And we'll make this work. Alright, the 10 are there. We've got our entire guns there. And we're going to be able to attack from multiple directions, and we can take this out, and we can end this. And Italy loses 413,000 in that encirclement. Italian fleet's actually gotten pretty well decimated in the course of this war. Free France has finally capitulated. This should allow them to start focusing their aerial strikes against our main area, which is what we want. Still can't get them to challenge over here. But they're challenging in Northern England. That's not where I want. I want Southern England. Ooh, we're losing trains. Logistics. There we go. Finally, something's happening in Southern England. But they don't have any strat bombers. We need them to have strat bombers, not just support planes. Another one of my units here. Did a light cruiser, took nothing. It continues to amaze me that these runs are being destroyed because I cannot get them to bomb my capital. Well, this is a bit more encouraging. I like that we sent the leftovers of the Navy down there, and it's been enough. Who knew that the entire war would be fought in Libya? All right, we've given it long enough. Hopefully this works. There it does. There we go. This is what's supposed to happen. If you see there, we've had 8 days since the last strategic bombing. It's supposed to happen in the meantime of 7 days. That Buckingham Palace gets bombed and King Edward dies. Extensive strategic bombing in the capital area has now taken its ultimate toll. At 3:41 p.m. yesterday afternoon, St. James Park and Buckingham Palace were struck by a strike conducted by multiple enemy bombers. The rescue services arrived at the scene within minutes. They were forced to conclude that King Edward and his wife Wallis were killed instantly when a bomb detonated and brought down the cellar's ceiling upon them. The deaths of the king have plunged the nation into mourning. Preparations are already underway for the coronation of his successor. As a result of the king's morganatic marriage, the line of succession now passes through his brother, Albert, who has chosen the regal name of George VI. As he prepares for his coronation, the king is dead. Long live the king. So now we get George VI, like you always would have, right? And then there is another event that will happen where he dies, and I think this is actually something that would happen regardless. But he dies, and in a meantime to happen of 4 years, I think. So I guess I'll just continue to play and see if we can't win this war, and then we'll get the queen whenever that works itself out. And we are in Benghazi. We're in Benghazi. May 16th, 1941, Japan has declared war on the Philippines. The Netherlands is trying to launch a naval invasion. Alright. We accept the call to arms. We are at war with Japan, which should... No join wars. Call to arms is going to be fine. That should change old USA's mind about a faction, shouldn't it? Still not yet. And begin preparations for a attack. To use floating harbors. Beginning from here. There. All right, Your Majesty. King George VI, you are a good leader, a fantastic person to have in charge of a nation in this game. But you are not who this video is about. So we're going to activate this event significantly early. This event will happen regardless. As soon as you get the Buckingham Palace event, this event will happen, but it's a mean time to happen of 4 years after January 1st of 1941. And this video is about Elizabeth. It is not about George here, so we're going to go ahead and do this here. King George VI dies. This morning, news broke of the death of King George VI. Recently, the stresses of the war had increasingly taken a toll on the king's health, and eventually his heavy smoking and subsequent development of and Berger's disease caused his daughter Elizabeth his daughter Elizabeth to already take over many of her father's royal duties. Okay. Now Elizabeth will ascend to her father's throne, bearing the regal name Elizabeth II. Though young, she has been prepared for this moment ever since her uncle's morganatic marriage made the future line of succession clear, and it's expected to make a good queen despite her age. So she gets that really bad, inexperienced monarch stuff there, but some really good stuff with popular queen and headstrong and things like that. And so now we finally have Queen Elizabeth II. This picture is from significantly later than 1941. She would have been in her teens, early teens in 1941, but it's the best picture we got. I think this is around the actual coronation time, which was in the 50s. So. And now you have actually 3 corgis that you can put as the leaders here. Now, I'm not going to be able to afford to do them all, as they do have political power gain problems. However, notice that this one basically undoes the inexperienced monarch here. So we're going to get rid of Winston Churchill, and we're going to grab Dookie here for our first corgi, and we'll just keep going. Hey, Soviet Union, you don't look too good. How about we send you some weaponry? How about all of this? Good, they'll accept. All right, consumer goods factory is -5, stability -5. Well, it looks like Jane has the same thing, as well as daily support for unaligned. Let's get our second corgi. I like that Italy has lost nearly 2 million, Germany has lost 1.5, and I have lost 333,000. Almost all to Italy, and I've knocked out 1.5 million of the Italians. Okay, D-Day. I think it is time. We have 24 divisions attacking this beach here, and 24 more divisions attacking this here. So we're going from this river over to this naval base here in Normandy. Pretty much all of Normandy's beaches are being invaded, and we'll see if there's anyone waiting for us when we get there. Let's go. And you all, naval invasion support. Get on in here. We need to cut them off into Vichy. Ah, it's not Vichy anymore. It's Free France. Okay. I'll take that. So without that, we're going to have to take pressure off another way, launch another naval invasion. The only way Britain can take pressure off, we're going to launch an invasion of Naples. And with that, the reconquest of Aquitaine is complete. Put all units on this line here, and we're going to try to get it split again. While we're at it here, political power gain and political power gain, not really there, but recruitable population and war support is helpful. Let's get the last corgi, crackers. We now have crackers and Dookie and Jane. Our political power gain is down to 1.12, but that's not nothing. Siam has joined Japan. And that's why we have Burma. So, back to being England. Naval invasion support. Launch this. There it is. Italy has capitulated.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Move out. Move out.
Get in here.
Orders. Move out.
I'm going to try to hold these guys in place. Somehow, this still
Orders. Yes,
is
sir.
not falling. Good defensive positioning, I guess. All right, we're going to clear the Mediterranean of our ships. We're into Belgium. We've arrived in the Netherlands. Oh, good. They're launching another attack into my mountain lines. They put a lot of divisions down here for not having the home country of one and the other one's about to be attacked. We're now almost caught the Soviets on German casualties. Those crazy encirclements. Luxembourg's taken. Means we are on the doorstep of actual Germany. I think we've actually crossed into actual Germany. Oh, I think someone launched a naval invasion. They did! They naval invaded over here. We finally took this spot. I've been trying to take that forever. Alright, time to go for Berlin. Alright, we're heading in there. We're trying to catch them. And we have caught them! There it is. The first major naval battle between our Navy and the Japanese Navy results in us losing 6 destroyers and them losing 3 heavy cruisers, 9 light cruisers, 18 destroyers, and several planes from their carriers. We are on the gates of Berlin, which is wide open. Can you please just move in there? Thank you. Strike them down. There it is. There it is. The end of it all. The fall of Berlin. Here we go. And the peace conference is over. We have satellited the German Empire, the Kingdom of Italy, the Kingdom of Bulgaria, putting Boris back on. We have liberated Austria and Czechoslovakia, and we have liberated Albania as well. I think that we did pretty well for ourselves. We can finish this off if we so desire, but I guess Slovakia remains fighting. But I think that we have done what we came here to do. We have placed Elizabeth on the throne. We have worked with her 3 corgis as key advisors. We have successfully liberated Europe from the Axis menace. Yes, there is still a communist threat. Yes, there is still a war with Japan to fight, but you have probably seen that a great many times, and this video is probably long enough, certainly is long enough in recording. But I've been Taco Gaming, and I think I'm going to end this here. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, please do check out the rest of my stuff. But I think that we have accomplished what we had hoped to accomplish here. The Queen is on the throne in this wonderful game, and may she rest in peace in real life. Godspeed.